House in Anambra State have said to the governor to carefully look at indigenes of the state who are still in South Africa and find a way to independently repatriate them after profiling back into the country and, of course, to the state. Now, looking at this development, what would you make of this call? Because, yes, there are still some of Nigerians in South Africa. And, of course, this according to the president of the Nigerian Union in South Africa.
That call should have come after the federal government have finished their own evacuation. It is only when the federal government have said, look, we are done. We can no longer carry on. Then the states can now take up where the federal government stopped to evacuate their citizens in South Africa. Because if they start their own arrangement now with the one the federal government is doing, I don't get it. How will it pan out? Because the same Anambra people may be having a separate arrangement with their state government, while the federal government is equally having an arrangement with the same person. So it will be untidy. So I will say, look, let them wait until the federal government said that we have finished evacuation. This is how far we can go. The states can now take over and start picking their citizens in South Africa, one after the other. That is what I feel. Okay,
now looking at the fact that some are returning back to their state of origin, and specifically in Edo State, we hear that Governor Monday Okpebholo has been given 1 million naira each to every single indigene of the Edo extraction. But do you think at this point this should be replicated or even more with other states? Because yes, there are quite a number of persons who have returned. Over 1,000 of them presently have returned back to Nigeria. And of course, just a few are from the Edo State, who again have been given that amount.
Such assistance should be based on the need of the persons. Because the need of people are not the same.
Okay.
There are some people that are well to do in that South Africa, and they are coming back with their money. Maybe they have made provisions with their friends in South Africa and all that. So if some people are coming back, they may not need your 1 million naira, which is nothing to them.
Okay.
And so the question is, what do you want as a person coming back from South Africa? That is how to do it. There is no need believing that everybody need 1 million naira, as if that is their problem. Some people may need just some skills or enabling environment or some incentives to carry on their businesses, or even a space for their businesses. These are little things that can help them, not the money per se, or even accommodation for those who don't have. But I don't believe that anybody in South Africa does not have a family in Nigeria. They all came from a family.
So practically throwing money or throwing handouts at them would not really solve the issue.
That's not the way to go. Yes, you find out from them, what do you want? So that they can tell you exactly what they want. Okay. That money in Nigeria today.
So speaking about enabling environment, now there is also the conversation that majority of the Nigerians who return back home are Southeasterners. And again, this according to some data from some media houses, but some have said that this has been the reason why there's been not much proactiveness on the part of the federal government, allegedly anyways. But then, what do you make of that as well? With the call from the House of Assembly in Anambra State, carefully stating that these Southeasterners should be taken care of.
There is no gainsaying about it, because at home, the Southeasterners have been disenfranchised from governance. The records are there. The Southeasterners, they are not part of the government. Nobody remembers them, especially in employment and all that. And so their youths are always looking for succor outside Nigeria. That is why they have them in great number in every country in the whole world, not just South Africa. That is just the reason. And the government, maybe for one reason or the other, they are comfortable with that. Yes, they are. Meanwhile, these Igbo youths, they are contributing to all these countries where they are. They are building their economy, something they should have done at home here. And you know very well that this became very, very much during the Operation Python Dance and Crocodile Tears, when they were mowing down these youths wherever they see them in the southeast. And so many of them took advantage of that and ran away out of Nigeria. That was what happened. That was the genesis. And so this same government that doesn't like the Igbos, they now see it as a day of reckoning. That's why they are not taking care about bringing them home. That's why they are very reluctant about bringing them home. Because go and look at it. Thank God the facts are there. The figures are there. 70 to 80% of the returnees are Igbo from Igbo extraction, southeast. So why are this other region? Why are their people not traveling? No, tell me, what's the reason? You mean the Igbo like to just leave Nigeria for nothing? Because there is no succor for them at home. Is it not obvious? But when we say we are marginalized, people just think it's just a joke. We are just lamenting for nothing. Look at Tinubu's administration. Look at the appointments. Look at the opportunity space. Have the Igbos been given one? Rather, their businesses are being hunted down, even in Lagos here.
All right, then. Let's still stay within Nigeria and, of course, talk about the call by the president to other African countries to end their long-standing dependency on exporting raw cocoa beans and, of course, focusing on value addition. Cocoa has been one major crop that Nigeria, before now, were big on. Now, we go as far as exporting these raw materials, and of course the finished product is what we go about importing back into the nation. The call by the president clearly that there should be increased earnings from the global chocolate industry. What do you make of that, Barrister Darlington? Because this again can, in another end, fund some part of the economy. What's your take?
We don't have visionary leaders in Africa. That is the major reason. We believe in handouts. As long as the IMF and World Bank are there to give you handout in the name of loan, African leaders don't bother again about being creative. The raw material that God gave us, instead of African leaders to convert it into cash, into money, they would rather throw it away and give it out. But they will now turn around to go and borrow money. Is that not how African leaders operate? No, tell me, is that not how we operate, David? Look at let me start with Nigeria. The crude oil that God gave us since 1959 at the low, we cannot be able to refine that gold, that black gold. Rather, we call the white man to come and help us do it. What are we lacking in? Is it the technology or the manpower? Can't we send our people to go and learn this thing and come back home? Can't we buy the machinery? Can't we? But we prefer to go and borrow easy money and then use the black gold as a collateral. The job that comes with it, the employment, other industries that come with it, we throw it away, we give it to the white man. And you are telling me that we have thinking leaders. So these other people that we are going to collect all this is from others, are they not human beings like us? Please, somebody should tell me, are they not human beings like us? We import chocolate, import all manner of things for our own use. The people that are manufacturing it over there, are they not human beings, for God's sake? Even our people are working in those factories abroad. Our people, they are working in those factories abroad. So, there is no way to describe it that we have leaders in Africa whose business in governance is to plunder, not to govern, not to lead, not to bring a succor to the people. Their own is just to plunder the resources of Africa, which God gave us in abundance. And we are here lamenting. The day African leaders, or God will give us leaders who meant well, leaders in the order of Nkrumah, that's why they killed him. All the leaders of the 60s who meant well for Africa, look at how they were wasted. They were wasted by greedy thugs who came into power. What they did to these leaders is what is haunting us today. Because those leaders in the order of Nkrumah, look at the visionary idea they have. Go and check what they did. This leader would have lifted Africa. They would have taken us to higher height. But some greedy people like Mobutu Sese Seko, they came in here and cleared all of them and took over and plundered their country. That is where we are, why we are where we are.
Now, what would you say is the reason why African leaders, now we're still streaming it down to Nigeria, particularly on this cocoa situation. What would you say is the reason why they've not been consistent follow-up of production line for the total extraction of the cocoa bean and making Nigeria not dependent of the imports of the products of cocoa beans?
Because most leaders that come into their country in Africa, they didn't come to lead. They didn't come to improve their country. They came to plunder. They came to take what they can from the country. They never believe in the country they are governing. Example is Nigeria. Look around you. Look at all the mineral resources that God gave us. What is the Tinubu administration doing with them? What is he doing with them? Can you tell me? He claimed he worked in Mobile. And so we believe that somebody who had something to do with the oil industry, he will sanitize the NNPCL and bring succor to that industry. What is going on there today? Was it not there that the highest embezzlement happened? 210 trillion naira disappeared. David disappeared, and he's not even making effort to find out where that money is. They said the report is on his table. Their national chairman Yewata said that yes, we have submitted the report to Tinubu's table, and he said he will do something about it. Up to today, Barrister, 210 trillion
we have
in a country.
We have the raw materials. We do not have factories for these raw materials to be processed.
Good.
Bank of Industry disbursed 164 billion naira to 3,500 agro-processors, securing about $60 million to boost cocoa value addition. Now, in boosting addition of cocoa, as against having factories that would extract the cocoa bean to major production, help Africans make sense of this particular story, Barrister.
Again, when you do not have the intention, oh God Almighty. Look, it's one thing for you to propose an idea and for you to have the intention of implementing it. They just come on air and speak grammar. We are going to do this. We are going to provide 200 million houses in 1 year, and people will clap. Hey. But in reality, in their mind, they don't want to do it. They will never do it. It's an avenue to collect money. All those things you had now. A government that meant well will say, look, we are going to have industrial parks in all the states. David, gather all the entrepreneurs, ask them, what machinery do you need? We are going to provide it with the raw materials. Oh yeah, get to work. David, please, is that not the way to go? Is that not the way to go? Than giving people money that you know very well that money is going to enter into their pocket. When
you talk about enabling environment for these factories, Barrister, question that comes to mind is the environment economically enabling enough for these factories to survive? Because we understand that in Nigeria, you practically would be powering your own electricity. And that on its own is on another level. We're not even talking security when it comes to transportation as well.
David, that is where I told you that the intention The intention is more important than the utterances. You know that all these industries, they need power to succeed, and you don't have it. So why are you giving people money to go and do what? David, to go and do what with the money? Can't you get it? They didn't want it. In fact, they are not even planning, not to talk of implementing. They just say back of industry, back of industry. Where is the industry they are industrializing? Where is it? The first thing you can think of is what? Power for you to industrialize. Do you have it? Do you have it? Or is it that we cannot afford it or we don't have the capacity or what? No. It's not rocket science. If other smaller African countries can have 40,000, 50,000 megawatts, why is Nigeria lacking behind with 5,000 in this age and time? Because, David, your leaders don't want you to succeed. As long as they have enough money in their pockets, you can go to hell. They don't care about you. Light. They have almost 3 or 4 super silent generators in their houses. They don't even know when there is light and when there was no light. Because immediately the NEPA, in fact, they don't even need your NEPA. They switch on those from January to December. So if you are talking of no light, it doesn't concern them. To tell you how bad it is, the seat of government is now operating on what? Solar. David, on solar. That means 25 hours they have light. So if you don't have light, it doesn't concern them. David, it doesn't concern them. So if your industry does not work, it doesn't concern them. Whatever they need, they can afford it, they can import it from abroad.
So why expect foreign direct investments in such an environment?
Again, that is what? Male speeches.
Now, let me read out something quite interesting for Africans and, of course, the rest of Nigerians. GlaxoSmithKline as also known as the GSK PLC, is a multinational pharmaceutical company and biotechnological company in Nigeria.
They are worked out.
They've left Nigeria. Procter and Gamble, they've left Nigeria. Sanofi also left Nigeria. Equinor, Bolt, quite a number of this.
7.2 million of them.
Looking at these companies leaving Nigeria, how then is the government going to help citizens, the growing citizens? Because let's put that out there, Nigeria's figure is increasing by the day.
The population alone.
Yes.
That is why whenever somebody come and tell you he wants a shared prosperity for you and I, say, which prosperity? Where is it coming from? If 7.2 million businesses have closed and left Nigeria, have you considered the number of unemployment that will follow? 7.2 million. Go to this LUCCI, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Go to their website and go and see. Companies that have closed down and some that have left Nigeria. A government that wants the future of the country will think of the future of this country, the youth that are coming out from university and secondary schools. Where will they be employed? You make sure that there is power to absorb this, to make sure they stay in business. Because most of them even close down because of what? High cost of energy. True of us. High cost of energy. Some businesses have closed down because they can't afford it. Even Dangote, because he can afford it, he was even thinking of going solar for his refinery. Can you imagine? So how many persons can afford the so-called solar? How many persons can afford it? That is another issue. You think solar is enough? No. You need to maintain it too. You don't just put solar. No, you need to maintain the battery, you need to recharge. And so, when you look at all this, a government that intentional on what they want to do to help the country, they will pursue all these avenues.
Let's bring out,
because these are the foundation for your industrialization.
I like the fact that we're talking industrialization right now on the African News Conversation. Let's reel out some interesting facts across Africa, and I'm going to reel out electricity unit prices in Africa as of 2024. Ethiopia is the lowest in Africa with about $0.003 per kilowatt, and Sudan, a war-torn country, is the second lowest. Angola follows, Zambia follows, Cape Verde follows, Mali follows, Sierra Leone follows. Nigeria is somewhere down the park. a country adjudged to be the largest in Africa by numbers, and I dare say by a little landscape as well.
They say you are the lion of
With
Africa.
these conversations that we're having, can we have industrialization truly
It will be
in Nigeria?
It will be difficult until a leader comes on board. David, look, if you are planning with the government, forget it. Plan for yourself, because government have no plans for you. The government have no plans, no industrialization plan, nothing. If not, this light would have been sorted out before now. Can you imagine a country of 200 million people sharing 5,000 megawatts of electricity? How can it go round? Tell me how. Which magic will make it go round? Some people used to lament on our show, sister show, Evening Rush, how they don't have light for 4 months. 4 months in this country, in this age and time. Some 2 months, some 6 months. In fact, they remove their transformer.
Barrister, there
So
are alternative energy source that could have been utilized. And I'm talking about coal, I'm talking about the likes. Why do you think this administration and even the previous ones have not thought of it?
They are not visionary. David, they are not visionary. They are not thinking, they are not looking in west. They have not gone to ask other country, come, how did you have 50,000 megawatts of electricity? How did you get it? Have they asked anybody? CMS project, we have been hearing since Buhari's 8 years, up to today. Up to today, CMS is still shrouded in secrecy, in mystery. Up to today, they are not ready to develop this country, so forget it.
Now, we're talking power. Let's talk a little about taxation, because this is another conversation that entrepreneurs across Africa and including Nigeria have been complaining about. High taxation. Why do you think there's not been some level of reduction in taxation and even major harmonization to help the entrepreneurs across Nigeria and Africa do better with their businesses?
In the case of Nigeria, because charity begins at home, the Nigeria that claim to be the giant of Africa, they have not told us where they claim to be giant of Africa. Is it in population or what? In this age and time, population has nothing to do with development. Seriously. Except you are making use of that population like China. And so, the reason for high taxation on all sectors, David, is because the money in our kitty, in our purse, in our treasury, they have stolen all of them. And so they need another tax from you to cover it. For example, that 210 trillion naira, why is it that nobody is talking about it? Do you imagine what that money can do to a Nigerian economy? 210 trillion. Imagine what that money could do to the economy of this country today. Yet, some Nigerians, wicked Nigerians have stolen it too. And they are now collecting tax from you and I.
Well, the National Assembly
Other countries that have oil, they are not paying tax. True or false? Go to Saudi Arabia. That have this oil money, they are not paying tax. They are not disturbing their people. It's only in Nigeria, the only OPEC country without a refinery, where people are eating sand. Meanwhile, they are oil OPEC member. Can you imagine? The only one OPEC nation that doesn't have a refinery, functioning one. And you are telling me that something is wrong here. These leaders, if I have my way, if I have my way with this leader, they will explain what they are doing with the Nigerian economy. All right, people just steal our money and start talking big. When you see them talking like you think it's their own money. It is the money they stole from you and I. It's not their money.
Well, particularly in the 210 trillion, we understand that National Assembly has said they would be investigating.
Really? Okay.
But that's what the National Assembly said.
They told you that, Abi.
But that's what they said.
Has the investigation been carried out? The investigation will end up with Bajajamila Gate. As long as big names are involved, David, go and sleep. That money is gone.
Quite unfortunate. But then we're hoping, Barrister has just been a bit pessimistic in all of this, but we're hoping that there would be some level of thorough investigation that would possibly bring out justice and of course
who,
uncovering.
True talk, yes. Because the other one, have they uncovered anything, David? Remember off your mic, who later became your Senate president? Was he not rewarded?
Oh, well.
Was he not rewarded? With all that happened in NDDC. Was he not rewarded with Senate presidency? Well, he did not even contest election, no. They put him there. David, this country is thinking to high heaven, seriously. What is going on here is very, very annoying. I keep saying it. If I have my way, these people will tell me why they are destroying Nigeria like this.
Well, because of our time, really, this is where we have to draw anchor on the analysis segment of the African News. We've been talking with Mr. Darlington Agoumo, a lawyer right here in Nigeria, and also a public and political affairs analyst and commentator. Thank you so very much for being here, Barrister.
My pleasure.
We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, more stories again.